World War I did not begin with confusion. It began with certainty. In the summer of 1914, political leaders across Europe believed war could be controlled. They believed it could be limited. They believed it could be won quickly. They believed raw. By the time the guns fell silent in November of 1918, the world had been permanently altered. More than 20 million people were dead. Another 20 million were wounded. Millions more were displaced, impoverished, or broken in ways statistics do not measure. Senior generations understand something younger ones often do not. History does not arrive loudly. It settles slowly and stays. World War I began after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. But assassinations do not cause world wars. Decisions do. Within weeks, alliances activated. Mobilizations began. Ultimatums were ignored. Governments chose escalation. Once those choices were made, there was no turning back. Millions of men were told to report for service. Some volunteered. Many were compelled. The machinery of war had started, and it required fuel. That fuel was people. This war consumed entire age groups. In France, nearly 1/4 of men aged 18 to 30 were killed. In Germany and Russia, losses reached into the millions. Britain went from a small professional army to mass conscription. Australia sent over 416,000 men. More than 60,000 never returned. Canada lost 65,000. New Zealand lost 18,000. These were not career soldiers. They were clerks, laborers, farmers, apprentices. Many had never left their hometowns. Now they were sent halfway around the world. This was not a war of heroic charges and decisive victories. It was a war of stalemate. Trenches stretched for 25,000 miles across Europe. Men lived underground for months at a time. They slept inches from one another. They ate poorly. They washed rarely. Mud was constant. Cold was constant. Fear was constant. This was not weakness. This was survival. Between opposing trenches lay no man's land. Sometimes it was 300 meters wide. Sometimes less than 30. Crossing it meant exposure. Machine guns could fire hundreds of rounds per minute. Artillery turned bodies into fragments. Yet men were ordered forward. They climbed ladders knowing the statistics, knowing many would not return. Obedience, not optimism, moved them. That distinction matters. War did not only kill, it disfigured. Trench foot caused flesh to decay. Gas attacks burned lungs and blinded eyes. Shell fragments tore through faces and limbs. Amputations were common. This war forced medicine to evolve, not out of innovation, but necessity. Blood banks were created. Plastic surgery began. Rehabilitation medicine was born. Progress came at a price. Letters mattered more than rations. Mail arrived by the millions. It connected men to something real. One letter could sustain a man for weeks. Many letters reassured families falsely, because truth would only cause pain. Some letters became final messages. They were not dramatic. They were restrained, practical. That restraint speaks volumes. In December 1914, something unexpected occurred. Soldiers stopped fighting, not because generals allowed it, but because men chose it. They sang carols across trenches. They spoke to one another. They exchanged small gifts. This was not sentimentality. It was resistance. For one day, war failed. That matters, because it proved something essential. Dogs carried messages under fire. Pigeons delivered intelligence when radios failed. 500,000 pigeons were used. Many were killed. Their role was not symbolic. It was operational. Even in war, survival depends on cooperation, sometimes from unexpected sources. When the war ended, men returned home. But the war did not leave them. Nightmares persisted. Silence followed. At the time, psychological injury was dismissed. Men were expected to resume life unchanged. Some could. Many could not. We now recognize this as post-traumatic stress. Back then, it was punishment, ridicule, or neglect. That failure matters. Gallipoli was not a failure of courage. It was a failure of planning. More than 58,000 soldiers died. Australia lost 8,000 men. Ottoman losses were even greater. The lesson was not heroism. Heroism was never in short supply. The lesson was cost. On November 11, 1918, the Armistice was signed. Celebrations followed, but the consequences remained. Empires collapsed. Borders shifted. Resentments hardened. World War I did not prevent future conflict. It prepared the conditions for another. That truth is uncomfortable, but necessary. World War I is not remembered because it was dramatic. It is remembered because it was transformative. It revealed the danger of arrogance, the cost of miscalculation, the human price of political certainty. Seniors understand this better than most. Time teaches caution. World War I was endured by ordinary people placed in extraordinary circumstances. They did not seek legacy. They sought survival. Remembering them does not require nostalgia. It requires honesty. And honesty is something time makes possible.